bollocks. Where's the thing? Wow, this is a non. There it is. There we go. And play that. Play the intro. Hello, everybody. You're listening or watching the Byzantian Brews podcast with your hosts, Glory Dragon and Chaotic Jexak, here to regale your ears with more tabletop nonsense.
And this week, I drive a tank.
Tonight, Glory Dragon drives a tank. I get banned from YouTube for dissing Justin Bieber. And the Stig rides an ancient gold dragon.
Oh, that's very top gear. Gonna let that one slip.
There we go. So I've got my I've got my Bugman's flask. I haven't actually used this like over a year. I bought it from Warhammer World like ages ago and never used it. So I'm now christening it with some tea.
That's the natural drink to put in a tankard.
Well, it's not a tanker. It's like a thermos actually. It's like the thermos one.
Well, fair enough. No, I was going to say that's worth going in the Book of Grudges.
Yeah, because when I went to Warhammer World with you and the others before, they didn't have any fucking tankards in stock.
Okay, fair enough.
So I bought the thermos anyway.
So,
What have we been up to this week?
when they just when Mitchell wanted to go down and get. I've been there like 2 years, so just went down there for the day.
Ah.
Not touch a game or anything, just to check out the gallery and stuff.
Uh-huh.
There's some stuff like they had like whole section on like just cars, just car-like vehicles, and I think you might like it, to be fair.
Oh, interesting.
Some really weird conversions, like some proper like hot rod inspired stuff in there. It's really cool.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
There's some that just looks really odd. Also, I tried the. They have that Hot Wings challenge.
Yes.
I gave that a crack. I managed to do it.
Nice.
With minor complications later.
Oh.
Got a cool pin.
Amazing.
There is something for it. It's not just a half, and you get like a cool like Bugman's pin for doing the challenge.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's all right. It's only £1 more than the actual Hot Wings that you could get.
Ah.
So I figured it'd be worth it.
The ultra hot wings.
Anyway, moving on. What have you been up to?
So I have been particularly busy this week. Mostly we did do that game. We did the game on Thursday, which was cool. But a lot of it is
You went to hell.
Yeah, I went to the other side of hell. Heck. The slightly angrier side of hell.
Mildly birthplace. Yeah, pretty much.
And
the same one I put in the homebrew of the week as well. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I got play tested, I guess.
I got to play an owlkin for the first time because I didn't know that was a thing until
very pro human sacrifice owlkin.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah. I don't know so much like pro human sacrifice as much as how else are you gonna get out of here? You know, it's not like you just wave a magic wand and
that was true. I didn't set that up.
It's like, well, technically, you could use like Dimension Door if you knew it, if you were high enough spellcaster, which you're not. Oops.
Theoretically, you would have to allow that. Yeah. Oh.
It's like, oh yeah, I just happened to have brought a scroll of Dimension Door with me. Maybe it would work. Maybe it won't. Who knows? If I could pass the check to cast it. Oh no! Looks like we
had a really funny oversight. I'd forgotten that actually existed.
Yeah. Oh no! The problem with this dimension door. Okay, you're not on. You haven't made it back to the Primitive plane. Oh, that's fine. Where are we? The other hell. Fuck. Wounds up.
So the door is AI generated, and you have to like get those weird spot the bike puzzles.
Oh no!
Pass through it
to pass a capture.
Yeah.
Sorry, you managed to get a hell, but you're in purgatory instead. Okay, what's purgatory like? Well, you look at the McClanky, You wonder how
It's a
nice it would
room
be.
with a pickle in it.
It's just an infinite. You try and leave the room, you wind up back in the room. All there is a McClanky pickle.
You
There you
can't
go.
leave.
Done.
Yeah,
That's
we're drawn back to the
purgatory.
pickle whether you want to be or not.
Just perpetually wondering about this pickle. That's purgatory for you. It's not horrible. It's not lovely like heaven is. It's
A
kind of just
pickle.
in the middle. It's just perpetually
Things in Dante's Inferno, it's described as like the place where you queue until they decided whether you go to heaven or not, or hell, or wherever else.
Yeah. So Britain, basically.
The doctor's waiting room, you just sort of just waiting for ages until they know what to do with you afterwards.
Talking of like purgatory and other like versions or mythos of it, can you imagine like Anubis in the modern day? Imagine how many people he has to process every single day. Like, this was so much easier back when like the population was like 100th of the size and people weren't dropping like flies. Yes, yes, put your heart on the scale to weigh I don't
Yeah,
have all
yeah,
day.
that would be
There is
annoying.
literally like 400 people today that need to be processed. Half of them were killed by hippos.
No, trying to like no, like trying to eat really fatty food so it weighs more or less. All right, I know I've heard that trick.
Yeah.
Cheeky people. Yeah, I
Having
think
to
he has like. I think he's like really has multiple like Anubis is doing it, and people get annoyed that they can't see the real Anubis.
if it's plural, is it a new buy?
I guess it is.
The department of Anubis. It's like a fucking office. Man. Just a
It's
bunch.
like a bank teller, I guess.
Oh, that just sounds
Man.
horrible. I'm actually paid.
I imagine there's still loads of snakes because
Yeah,
for some reason
yeah.
the Egyptians love their snakes. Anyway,
Uh but yeah, other than like Thursday's D&D game, which was a lot of fun. Haven't done a whole lot. I've
Mhm.
been doing some recording stuff. Had to update Fortnite. It's like
Oh yeah,
21 fucking gig update because the new season's out. It's like, oh, that's big. Had to update TCG Card Slot Simulator only to realize that there's a bug and it doesn't work properly. So, okay. Uh,
oh good.
yeah, and of course, because the wind's picked up, there was a few touch and go moments. So I was worried that my router would blow away in the wind. So that was fun. Eh,
Good.
what about yourself? Anything? Did you get up to much else this week other
Let's,
than
let's,
Warhammering?
let's, let's see. Lots of well, lots of you know need to get them done job applications and stuff, which was
Hmm.
not massively exciting.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to get back in touch with Emma because I've sort of been leaving her to it due
Ah.
to some because you're not exactly sure how far along she is with the surgeries and recovery and stuff. So it's like, let's
Hmm.
just not just not message her or anything for a little while.
Yeah.
No, never, So she's all right. She's just you know
Hmm.
recovering for like a month and a bit or something.
It happens. That's the
It did sound
surgery
intensive.
process.
Didn't feel like asking exactly how intense. I didn't feel like
Yeah.
asking how intensive. I just knew it was serious enough that would take a month. So it's like I don't want to
Hmm.
blow up her chat a lot.
Yeah.
So I think she's doing all right, and she might be down for D&D. Now it's every 2 weeks
Hmm.
because
Heyo.
she's a keen player, but she might get to show up often. She's good at showing up on time, and she likes dwarves. Um,
That's good.
apparently, she quite like anything frog and or code based, which is a
Hmm.
weird thing to come up. Just showed him. I know you might have seen it. There's like a really cool diorama, like one of the old school dioramas of the lizard men.
Uh-huh.
Some, I think they're the Lost Legion, like it's the Conquistador lads. Just got a picture of that because it looks cool. She's like, oh, she look like the Toad King, which I kind of
Yeah.
like that.
I was about to say
Sounds a bit more fun than slam. Probably
like
should go for that, but
having a thing for like frogs and toads is a bit weird. But then I could say that, but that'd be really hypocritical since my whole shtick is geese and ducks. So
Goose.
yeah,
Oh
it'd
yeah,
be a bit
the
like
thing is,
popcorn
more,
in the
I think it's
kettle
more like
black.
she just kind of thinks they're neat.
Yeah,
She
but
just kind of likes them. And like, oh, they're weird.
hmm,
It's fine. It's not like I was going to ask her opinion on toads or anything. It'd be a very specific thing to ask.
yeah, but yeah. So one cool thing I did find out is so I've been
That might be nice.
hmm, so
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else does this, but I've started taking multivitamins recently, right? And I found out that actually, considering the bottle itself is
Oh
clear when
yeah.
you take the stickers off, it makes for a really cool looking potion bottle for putting my D4s in. So I might start trying to get some like
Okay.
transparent red dice for potions of healing. Because it could fit at least 10, which 10 is the max cap for like potions
Okay.
of healing anyway. And it just looks cool. It's a neat way of storing them. It's handy, and you know
That's
you could roll them
okay.
right out of the bottle. Yeah, just a little like D&D top tip. If you take
Didn't know that was the
multivitamins,
limit on healing. That's
yeah, it's like 10d4. I think is like the
use the
superior
bottle
potion or
for stuff.
something. Yeah, reuse your little plastic bottles that are like, the medicine bottles for your dice because they do fit in there quite nicely. Just make sure that you remember that your meds aren't in there anymore and it's actually dice, and don't try and swallow a d4, please. I don't want to be responsible for anyone swallowing dice.
Melt the drink.
Yeah,
Do that.
don't. It's not a potion that's meant to be imbibed.
Well, if it doesn't have the label on it, you're not going to just put it in your mouth, are you?
Well, no, no. And if it's clear, you can kind of tell that it's dice in there. I'm just saying as a legal disclaimer.
Oh, that's right. I'm used to. Yeah. Don't
Anyway,
eat dice.
yeah, don't eat
It's a
dice.
good.
Unless they're those edible dice. There are, in fact, edible dice. I might try and get some at some point. But that's a whole other non sequitur. Anyway, what do we have for Tabletop Book Club this week? Before I lose my mind.
Good of this week. I have something that I've been meaning to read and go back to, but I didn't want to, you know, do
Hmm.
some shelling out for 40 quid's worth of stuff to get my hands on it.
Yeah.
Um, let me find it. Where is it at? It's where's it at? I think we right. Need some hold me something. I need to find the thing. Is it a oh wait? For God's sake. That's one. It's got a weird name.
Ooh.
Yes. It was something we found a while ago.
Uh huh.
Um, I think it was one of the weird Chronicle things, and
Ah.
the RPG that unofficially exists for it,
Hmm.
which is written. It's a cool 95-page thing. Let's have a look.
Nice.
Preface. Yeah, it's a flat out Barnacle inspired tabletop game made by just some fans. It's only like 95 pages long.
That's
Um, let's see, what is it? Have a look. Equipment. Oh, there we are. There's some fun stuff. It's like it's set on Matanui very specifically. It's not the newer stuff, so
uh
that's
huh.
what I know. But one of the stuff that what is after it. Um, it's sort of D&D esque in that it has a proficiency bonus, so there's some sort of bleed into it. So that's quite good. Um,
Nice.
it shares quite a few of the D&D like skills as well, which is quite interesting. And so it does. We've got some very specific ones like mechanical engineering, powers engineering, piloting stuff that's for the setting.
Hmm.
which I kind of like. Is there any, just check. Do they have anything more for con? Yeah, they actually have skills for Constitution, which only a couple,
That's
but I quite. That's always been a thing that was got neglected in fifth edition for some reason.
mm,
Um, knowledge as well. We got some very specific skills. It does. It's fifth edition adjacent.
yeah.
I quite like, but I don't mind that. The kind of slant is fifth edition adjacent, and I really like that. It's like they've tried to do a good job of the setting. Um, oh, okay. Dig. Move. This, the rules for digging are kind of fun. The increases in 6 inch rather than 5 feet.
Nice.
So the movement speed does vary if you're digging or flying. So that's. I don't mind that. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Let's have a look. What else we got? Well, it's yeah. Okay, so it's very quite mechanical to look at because it's fancy. Then a massive amount of art in it. So that's kind of something to keep in mind.
Hmm.
A lot more statuses like dizzy, dominated, separate from charmed. Um,
Interesting.
Steph.
Which does make sense because there's
Wait,
I
anger
because
is a condition.
yeah, that does make sense actually as well because again, the if it's going by like Martinui stuff in the movie, obviously there's the I believe there's the mask of domination or something, and there might be Makuda's mask where he just he doesn't just charm you, he controls you
Right.
with
Yeah, that would
he
be
just
reference
like
to that.
yeah mind because domination is more like mind control than it is about suggestion, and then anger is a thing because anger there's
Yes.
the staff of anger. I can't remember which of the Rashi it is, but they cause anger and rage through their staff, which poisons and disunifies Tahu specifically. I'm pretty sure he gets targeted by it, which is why he has the poison mask, which you can get,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's really fucking rare. Anyway, yeah.
okay. That's cool. Cool. There's probably 3 ranks of anger, which is cool. It's got a lot of fun, like new. I think the stats are different. Some of the skills are the same.
Hmm.
Um, or mania as well. It's a ranked condition. It's also quite interesting.
Interesting.
So the completely engrossed. Basically, you just become obsessed with doing a thing,
Mm.
which is rank 2 of mania. Then manic is the third one. Okay. Okay, but you get exhaustion if you pull them all. If you stop doing the thing you're manic for. I quite like that.
It's
It's a
odd.
loads more new conditions, and I quite like that too. A little bit's fine. This is a yeah. It's taking 10, 15, 20 concealment. That's quite right. Right. This is. I'm not sure this is in the main one, but there's concealment and stealth, which are different.
Right.
It's less like cover, but it's more like how hidden you are, which I
Uh.
quite like because I think the stealth rule is written as a bit wonky. Um,
Hmm.
let's say you're playing like a mid-level, even a low-level row, you can have a stupidly high stealth stat, which, depending on the DM, is practically invisibility. Um,
Mm.
that's what's makes stealth hard to balance, especially when it can consistently roll with a +8 at like level 3 or something stupid.
Yeah. I think I played a Shadar Khan that could do that once, like at level 3. It was
It's,
like, am I hidden? Probably. I'm going to hide in this corner of
that's
the
why I
building.
like saying the phrase "you think you're hidden" regardless
Yeah.
of the role.
Yeah.
You think you're hidden. Well, of course you ought to think you're hidden. You're hiding. Um, yeah. So there's no. I guess the soft rule for that is there something to hide behind? If not, you can't even try. It'd be like trying to hide in plain sight while looking very obvious.
Hmm.
But let's see. A lot of, like fans that worked on this is like this developer assistant developers covered the right character sheets.
That's a lot
All
of.
different people. No, Star Games. Quite impressive, really. Um,
Yeah.
let's have a look. Links as well, so it's actually quite good. The actual fun stuff. species. There we go. Okay, expertise tokens. Okay, so it's sort of like skills you can buy with expertise.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a form of XP. That's really nice. Hit points are set by species, which is I don't mind that. That's fine. It makes them different. It has a built-in inventory capacity, so that might. I don't quite
Nice.
like that. I do quite enjoy a good
Hmm.
you can carry. Um, armor frames and body plans. Okay. Okay. So basically, you have like the basic frame you can armor up on it. That's quite nice because you're literally robots. Uh, cool. This is right. Okay, so the classic got the Maturans, the standard ones.
Nice.
Uh, there's a lot of lore on this as well. Like all the lore you could ever need is on here within like less than a page. So that's really good.
Hmm.
Do come flat out play as a Matoran, which is cool. It's almost like the little villager guys.
They are cute. They're just little guys.
Okay, they're literally cute little guys. Um, here, what can they get? Okay, so they get a trans. Okay, let's have a look. So one of the things they can do when they're destined, they can flat out transform into the Power, I guess,
Makes
which is
sense.
fun. Basically, you get basically a great version of the mask they already have, and the two tools they already have on their person, which will become their weapons, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, minimum health comes out of a Toa. Okay, so basically you can play the small lads and then become the big lads.
Makes sense.
What else have we got? Um, what else have we got? Turaga. What are these fellas? Oh, you can play as like the chief, like
Yeah,
the older
the
lads. That's
elders.
quite fun.
Yeah. The interesting thing
Don't
will
know what to get.
be if they've done stuff for like non-Toa, because I remember I think it's like Kreka, and there was like other characters like Kitongu. I mean, admittedly this is later on. I think there's others in that era that weren't Toa but were pretty fucking strong, despite not being Toa.
Okay.
Or even
Okay,
just
so there's only three species going, but
Mhm.
you can play as. Carry on. Sorry.
That's cool. It's
We'll
cool.
take
It's
you off
cool.
there. Yeah, and that's fine. So yeah, he plays the Matoran, the Toa, and the Turaga, who don't get to transform. You just play as the old lads.
Huh,
Which I think is kind of cool.
it seems
Yeah, they
decent.
literally can't use great masks at all. I quite like that.
Hmm.
So why would you want to play these guys? Okay, it's fine. Okay, so basically they're really, really wise, which makes sense. That's kind of their thing. If they get a free, like,
Mhm.
mental power as well.
Noise.
And because you're slightly older, you get. uh, Okay, so you can use action points to just better give orders to NPC Matorans because
An
you're like their
elder. That
chief. I quite like
that
that.
does make sense.
Yeah, so basically you can mastermind some stuff about. You can't like dictate exactly what they do. They will do it in their own NPC way, but you can give them.
Hmm.
Okay, quite like that one. That's quite a fun little rule. How do
Nice.
they do blasty bits? So that's what you want to know. Basically, elements basically a place of all magic with the element system. So
That
it's basically you can use elements to do blast stuff, strike with things, um, craft elemental items, control things. Okay, what else is there? Well, also, you can use energy to flat out deal conditions. So you can just spend additional energy to choose the condition
Which is fair.
from like 1 to 3 points, which is quite like that. So anything from unmask. What's the fun one? So for 3 energy points, you can just flat out unmask a thing you hit.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the. It's quite a fun thing to because they've really thought about it, and
Hmm.
I think it's quite a neat little idea. It's definitely something I have to read a little more into. So I would like. It might be worth playing. I think.
I would
Um,
absolutely play a game of this, honestly. Like, I would be so into.
yes,
I would so be like, yes, I'm gonna play as a little bastard Matoran. I'm gonna play as a little bastard Matoran of air, and then become a
that is
Toa and
entirely possible.
just be a Toa, fly around a bit, and be a general nuisance. Cause
Already this. Never mind. Okay.
fucking I know that Liwa like ground the other's gear sometimes. Like for fuck's sakes, Liwa, could you take this shit seriously for like 5 seconds? No, I don't think I will.
Was he one of the serious ones? Or was he one of the? So
I'm pretty sure
I've
that
seen
Liwa
the
was like definitely
PS2
not
game a while back.
serious. Like I think he was on
So the one
newer.
that kicked rocks was the funny one.
Yeah,
If I remember
yeah.
that, if I remember that right.
Bahatu was the funny one.
Because that was for some reason that was the rules you had to do. Um,
Liwa was
yeah,
Liwa was relatively like wise, smart, but very, very carefree.
like the air, I guess.
Yeah,
Speaking of air, how do they work? Uh, you gain craft. So your skills are literally tied to your, I guess, subspecies. They're calling it.
makes sense.
It's
Because there's like six
okay.
different
Also, you
elements
get
that you could fit into.
specific. Yes, and you get different unique skills. Like oh my goodness. Okay, so for 2 energy, if you have the air lot, you can just not be targeted by attacks of opportunity.
Makes
You just
sense.
spend that. Kind of like that. Um, okay, what is it? You can grant immunity to fire damage to somebody else
Neat.
for a number of rounds equal to any time they can hold their breath. So basically, you can just like vacuum seal them off. It's quite
Ooh,
interesting. So what's it? You absorb air to regain energy. You can remove. Basically, you can like detox yourself. Seems like quite good actually. I want to climb, and you get a climb speed,
yeah, because
and
climbing trees and
you're
stuff.
slightly
Yeah,
better at not being exhausted. Yeah, I
yeah.
like that. That's actually quite powerful. Yeah, there's quite a lot to it. Do you know what? That might be worth something to do in one of the off weeks. I'd like to give this a go.
I would love that. I would be up for that. I bet you the rest of the others would be as well because like, I don't know.
April has mentioned she used to have some back in the day as well.
Hmm.
I know she has. So yeah,
I doubt there's a
I guess
I doubt there's a nerd alive that hasn't had at least like one Bionicle in their lifetime.
valid point. Uh, water's kind of yeah, that's a bit sad really. That was my favourite. Is you can walk on water,
Hmm.
um, use on movement speed. Obviously, you can swim. Obviously, you can swim if that's
Hmm.
kind of your thing. And you deal damage by controlling water. You can knock things prone and push them away. I don't mind that. Well, hang on. It's on targeting routes the ability to repeat a save against any effect you're affected by that requires a save. Yeah. Okay. Water kind of. Oh, hang on. But natural swim talent, hold their breath. Vulnerability to heat or I guess to be fire damage. That's kind of a weird trade-off.
Yeah.
Though I quite like they have a baked-in system where your characters have a damage type they're just weak to. Um, I like that. Actually, although saying that, now I'm looking at them. Flame Forged. Sorry, Flame Forged. fire characters could kind of get like one additional thing they can do. I guess they're the proper blasty lads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like the fighter of this game, I guess.
Which does make sense because
Right.
generally the fire tower is the leader of the group that does the most stuff. So I guess they
It's
kind of have like main
yeah,
character energy.
yeah, but then you get one extra thing they can do.
Mm-hmm.
Ice, what are we looking at? Ice gets a couple. Wait, hang on a second. Ground and Earth are actually quite good. That's nice. Oh, Earth are good at spelunking.
Makes sense.
They have tremor sense, which I quite like. That's pretty fun. Let's have a look. What's there? What is Earth? Okay, you hit things a bit harder. Um, you can avoid being stunned and stuff. That makes sense because you're like a rock.
Yep.
It doesn't mention anything kicking things. Makes me just a bit disappointed, but I quite like that.
Yeah.
So
The
that's the only problem is finding it a bit weird. Apparently, it's called Doranai Kofo. Let me check that. Which sounds like a weird rest name, but it is no Doranai Kofo. That's the name.
huh.
Let me check if it. Yes, that's Doranai Kofo. A little fan project that I think would be quite funny for people that grew up on the Bionicle stuff. I think I would come on to give it a go now I've said all that. What have you got this week? Is there one of the new magazines, perhaps, or
No, so
something
we're
else?
taking a break from the magazine to look at keys from the Golden Vault briefly. This is an actual D&D
Oh yes.
book. I picked it up for 15 quid because it was like half off. So, but I will be looking at this as if it were main regular price. So it is a
Yep.
book filled with about 11 different heists, which is cool. So and it goes from level 1 to 11, and you can run this like a campaign. Remember back when D&D used to make campaign books instead of just a
It's
source
nice.
book of an area, like a world like Ravnica, and didn't have any fucking campaigns in it? Well, yeah, so there's things about making a crew. There's complications moving the MacGuffin, rival crews, the Golden Vault organization that you might be with if you're doing the campaign stuff. Rival crew, rival crew stat system. So level 1 to 4, level 5 to 8, and line to 11 stat blocks. So you've got things like these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 named characters, and you use. So, like, example, there's a character called Gregear. Level 1 to 4 is a bandit, level 5 to 8 is a thug, and then level 9 to 11 uses the veteran stat block, which is cool. It's like the idea of this crew that can level up against you, which is pretty neat. And then there's a bunch of
Yeah, is it a
motivations.
high space one as well? So
Yeah, it's all heist based, which is cool. So if that's the kind of campaign your players want, fantastic. But I'd also recommend picking this up just as something to have access to, because it happened to one of my groups that I was with once, not running but playing. Sometimes your rogue is just gonna want to go on a fucking heist, and from a DM's perspective, it is so much nicer to have something already prepared that you can reskin instead of having to come up with an entire fucking heist from scratch on a whim, on like, improv. But so there's a lot of stuff here.
yeah, or running
Mm,
water deep stuff.
yeah, yeah. But there are 3 unique magic items, which is nice. Constantori's
Cool, cool, cool.
Portrait, Shard of Zulan, and Shard Solitaire. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unique stat blocks. So we've got some clockwork stuff and a bunch of named characters to have stat blocks for, and a bunch of little tables, which is nice. Again, stuff that will help you design your own heists, or just, to do heists if you need to. One of these is pretty cool because it takes place on a train.
Train heist.
Yeah. It's actually a
Okay.
sky train of all bloody things that lays its own track. It's really weird, the image here. The Concordant Express. It's a really strange looking image, but it's kind of cool. It's like this golden ass magic train, sky train. But you could always reflavor that as just a regular ass train for your own heist, or even indeed, because it's like is this a yeah a fare on the Concordant Express? Possibly you could use some of the stuff for this to do like a murder mystery type thing, because that Murder on the
Bird
Orient
on the
Express.
Concordant Express.
Yeah, exactly. It's got all the different. It's got like a map of every single car: the caboose, abacus car, aquarium car, cargo car, planetarium, passenger car,
Concordant car.
temple car, jail car,
Right.
upper and lower floor and engine car, and obviously you could add any number of different car or deduct any other different cars from that map thing. Heck, you can even come up with your own. It just kind of creates this cool modular system, which is really nice. Yeah. And so there's little bits like that in here. So, ooh, I have yet to read through the entire thing because it is a, have a look, 207-page book. So there's a lot in here, but it is all really neat. And there's a lot of cool maps. So some of them are drawn like actual dungeon DM master maps, and some of them are drawn up like little like scrawled heist maps, which is really nice. So you get like a combination of both when it's relevant.
Okay.
And some of the art in here, like there's the art of the animated suits of armor doing some assembly work, which is some just a really
All
cool
right.
little image to see. Some really nice art. I always love the D&D art because when it's drawn by actual people, it's usually pretty good. Anyway, yeah, that's keys
Yeah,
from key.
there's not many bad bits of art. And
Yeah,
yeah,
keys from the Golden Vault. Yeah,
it's
plan your next heist indeed.
cool.
Yeah. Oh, do we have critical fumbles for this week? It's not a good week without. It's not a
Right,
week
right.
without a critical fumble.
Yes. There's always someone messing up. Um, yes. This week it's not tabletop related for once.
Oh,
It is. So I mentioned the game Avowed that's been coming out recently. It was meant to be like a game that was meant to kill Skyrim,
uh huh,
apparently, according to the developers.
uh huh. I've heard rumblings about
Yeah,
this game.
it's simply put, it's not gone well. Um,
Oh no.
yes, the player count's been pathetic, and I have seen people stream it. To be fair, and from what I have seen of it, it's got like a few cool ideas. Like I'm looking at the numbers now. It's like 24-hour peak,
Mhm. Oh, hold on
19,161.
a minute. So I do actually
Which would have
have a.
been today.
Yeah,
That's good.
I think I have a funny story about this game.
Later.
Before you go into the critical fumble aspect of it, I
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
go on.
So I went over to my granddad's this week. That's something that I did this week that I forgot about. And my granddad was playing this.
Right.
He seemed relatively impressed. I don't think it was like he said it's fun.
Oh,
I don't think he
that's
would
fun.
have said like, oh, it's as good as Skyrim. Far from it, but he seemed to be enjoying it. But one thing I did notice is it's doing that thing that a lot of games are doing now, like Destiny, etc. It has this kind of Fortnite-esque rarity system of items, which is like, okay. I mean, I know like World of Warcraft did it before any other,
Oh,
but
no.
even to the point where like the icons of the weapons have different colored backgrounds like they would in Fortnite and the other type games. It's like it's just too colorful for my liking. UI, I know it's a real nitpick, but like I like my I don't like to stare at clown vomit when I'm looking at my inventory, you know. Anyway, yeah, I think my granddad recommended this.
Let's have a look at the. No, that's not it. Oh, I know what you mean. Like the icons sort of all like different shades of
Hmm.
purple or green or whatever.
Hmm.
No, no, I
Obviously,
can see that.
uncommon,
Um,
rare, epic, legendary, the same ones that Fortnite uses. I don't know who started with that specific system, whether it was World of Warcraft or something else, but I was I'd love to know. Answer in the comments below what's the origin of that rarity system that seems to be commonplace now, but I don't mind it if they're like if the name text is a different color when you like mouse over it or like controller over it, but having like the actual
right.
icons be different colors just really clashes with the UI in my opinion. Anyway, nitpick aside,
Have a look.
what's the T on this game?
Uh, th- well, it's a it's been what I've been following is like some of the writing is kind of off.
Right.
The main thing this one. What I've noticed is first of all the game is like really mid.
Yeah.
Uh, which I'm not actually like. It feels like Skyrim, but without the setting.
Oh.
Like you can hate Skyrim all you like, but I think the setting was actually pretty consistent for the most part.
Yeah.
This feels like desert island. Everything's here. Um, like what I've been hearing is that, and seeing it with some of the dialogue options are really weird. So there's a quest like later on in the game
Hmm.
where there's an option to seal off a place that's possessed by by the blight, or to remove the blight completely, but it will require literal human sacrifice of like hundreds of people to do it.
Right.
And there's like because you've got different party members in game, um, the game sort of paints the game sort of paints one of these characters always being right, but she's also the character saying, "Oh yeah, you need to kill these hundreds of people to seal the blight away." Which many people would say is probably the bad thing to do, and you could just seal it away with big rocks and stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
and apparently, you get a mouthful for not killing hundreds of people through sacrifice, and then the game has your character apologize to her, despite you know, despite you not wanting to sacrifice people,
Funny
which I think
that.
is a bit of a weird choice, to be honest.
Hmm.
Yeah, like you should have sacrificed those people. Um,
The kind of like game
yes,
wrote itself into a
yes,
corner
there's a
kind
bit
of
of a
moment.
weird.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess because it's more the fact that you don't have the option to say something effective like, "No, I actually think we did the right thing." Like
Yeah.
you can get elected but don't have to go along with it, which would be fine. Um, and it's the little things like that that sort of tip me off the game might not be that fantastic. That and the botching of the whole of the PR. Have you seen this where they were where one of the devs was saying there's a few bugs in it, but that's okay. But it was sort of like this was like before launch.
Hmm. There's a few bugs in it, but that's all right. Like,
Yeah, so it's like they've opened their yeah, they were calling it quirky. So they're trying to pass it off as like, oh, it's okay. The game's got bugs, but that's fine. Um, which is not a great sales pitch. I think that's why people think the game is worse than it is because it isn't as bad as people think it is. It's
unless they
also
were,
painfully mid,
because I
so
know
it's
that like
I'd almost prefer it to be bad.
yeah, because I know that some people really like Skyrim because of the stupid glitches, like the horse glitch and stuff like that. So maybe that's the like, oh, yeah, maybe they're trying to appeal because again, oh, with a Skyrim killer, they're trying to appeal to, oh, we've got our own funny horse glitch equivalent, quirky. Okay.
Yes, yes. Some I'm not going through Windows Central here. Apparently, they've compiled a list of all the things that can glitch and go wrong. Like apparently, the game has bounty trophies in the game, but the problem is uh, they just sometimes the bounty just doesn't spawn on the target.
Right.
It's you can't complete that bounty
Oh,
at
that's
all. But the quest
terrible.
is unbeatable unless you go back and do it again. There's apparently a bug where you can't level up companions at all, and
That's
apparently you need to literally quit then re-enter to make that work. There's a whole quest. They've even named the quest an untimely end. Um,
uh-huh.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this is a funny one. I was saying the story's a bit weird. So, there's a quest where you have to stop an assassin. You have the choice to either kill them or let them go free. If you choose to let them go, there's a glitch that you might trigger where you'll still end up in combat even if you didn't want to. Where the only the only apparent solution is to let yourself die. Then it will correct. Then it will update your journal to say you let them go away once they killed you.
Of fucking course. That makes total sense.
Uh, what's the one? Another one. Classic falling through the world. That's something that apparently happens occasionally. And here's another fun one. Apparently, sometimes you just cannot speak to quest-related NPCs.
Oh, I hate that
Well, there's a
one.
few of them.
That happens in Fallout 4 as well. I'm like,
Oh, great!
ugh.
Apparently, if you right, you'll need to go to especially to reload the save. That's another. What's the second one you have to do that for? And if you apparently talk to the NPCs out of order, you can also trigger it.
Really?
Just like a nice, cool 5 things that's not. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Yeah. I'm not sure how that.
I feel like they
Yeah.
should have
So those apparently there's a few bugs.
like those aren't even the funny kinds of glitches. Like you could have delayed the game a
Well, no,
bit to
some of those are like
patch
game
some of
breaking.
those. Yeah. Like shit like the potion glitch in Skyrim, that's the kind of glitches I want to know about that you haven't patched because those are funny. Or exploits that people could use are funny. Not, oh yeah, this could literally prevent you from
Or
completing a
the
quest or completely fuck up your ability to play the game if you accidentally saved over your only save and you can't talk to this quest giver now. Lamau.
yeah. Or what's the other one? Oblivion had the paintbrush glitch I quite liked.
Yes!
You just it would render doing the static object in the air, so you could just scale whole walls with it.
I remember using that in the in the arena to cheese the arena. Just going up into the stands and just taking pot shots. Genius.
Yeah, I think I cheesed the arena just by. Now I don't know who let you buy this, but you can just buy summon Daedric Lord. You can just summon Dremora Lord. So I
Nice.
just got really good at casting that and just sort of had it do the fighting for me.
Hmm. The true summoner class
That game was not
experience.
balanced.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just do the one spell. Um, yes. Anything you found this week that's particularly silly or
Uh,
buggy
so
or
so
hopefully not
this
buggy?
this week the critical fumble is me. Um, I dropped my favorite mug and it smashed, and that's partly why I'm using the
Oh,
Bugman's tank thermos at the moment. I broke my favorite mug. I've had it since I was a kid. It was like a Bart surfing mug. I've had it since I was a kid, like from an Easter egg years and years ago. Back when Easter eggs used to come with some really cool mugs.
yeah.
Nowadays, even the chocolate's shit.
So when
But yeah, I was actually writing up, I think, some homebrew stuff or something, and I knocked it. It was
oh
empty,
no,
luckily, and it just finally went, and now it's gone.
oh no, that's not
It's
the
gone to the
funeral for the mug.
yeah, it's gone to the great kitchen cupboard in the sky.
Bury it in the ground. Oh dear.
Yeah, it's a little
How much did you
fumble,
pay
but
for it when you first had it?
oh well, I didn't buy it, so I think it was like for like £5 Easter egg, like in 20 fucking 2008, 2009 or
Oh
whatever,
right, yeah.
probably.
You know the ones.
Yeah,
I don't know the one you're on about.
that kind of era. But it was a really quite a big mug as well. That was the thing. It was not like an oversized comically one, but like one where you could get a good amount of tea in, which I liked, and it was nice and round as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just it's
It's
gone
always
now.
time to use a good mug.
Yeah, it's a very British complaint. Uh,
My team cup is broken. Oh dear. Oh, what we got next?
Homebrew of the week.
Member of the week.
Yes.
Okay. Oh boy, have I got selection. I have a selection this time. Um, so what I'm going to do this week is I wrapped up one of the random dungeons, and then I've been buffing up the Hurricane Monster Manual because it doesn't really exist formally for reasons I don't really understand. Um, what I've come up with is something I've adapted from one of my favorite games. So I was playing Monster Hunter, and I've used a really fun monster from there that would be quite fun and fits any sort of desert setting.
Nice.
It's called the Asarios. I'm going to drop an image of it. And it turns out there's a sandstone variant that just exists in game. I thought, you know what? Might cheat a little bit on this one. And I'll just come up with a stat line for the Basarios because it'd be cool. Um, how do I describe this thing? It's like a living rock,
Makes
like a
sense.
really cool living rock, but it's a living rock. Um, and what it does is doesn't it has a breath weapon sometimes, but it's like a sort of fires like a not a ball of fire that sort of moves like a mortar. That's
Hmm.
fun. Uh, and it sort of just charges around. It's not a very subtle thing, which is quite fun. Um, the thing with Monster Hunter from the early generations, if you didn't know what to do with them, the monster would just sort of charge and trample you, and it would actually do a lot of damage. And because that was what we were working with at the time.
Mm.
But I think they're kind of cool. The thing about them I most fun to encounter though is that they look. You see the rock thing on their back?
Yeah.
It
Ooh.
literally looks like a rock in game. It's just
Ah.
slightly larger, so that's how you'd know where they were.
Mm.
But I think if in D&D terms, the whole statuesque trait is kind of great for that. Um, so as for let's see, so it's high strength,
Makes
kind
sense.
of low deck, so it's an 11, so it's kind of bulky, very slow, kind of stupid because it's not really dragon intelligent. It's sort of like a draconic adjacent monster.
Yeah.
Obviously, got a burrow speed equal to its move speed.
It's more like a
Um,
wyvern, actually, even
the
in
fun bit is
shaping. Because wyverns aren't that
they
bright
literally call them
either.
that in the Monster Hunter games. So yeah. Yeah. Um, the way it gets fun is rather than breath weapon, I gave them gas attacks that they get in game.
Hmm.
They have like a steam gas attack and a sleeping gas attack, which is quite fun.
Ooh.
Um, you could treat it almost like the moveset in game and have it ideally use its sleep gas attack, put one to sleep, and then trample them, which
Mm.
I've put down as a slam, which is 2d8 plus 5 bludgeoning, so it can really hurt.
Mm.
It's, there's a very deliberately limited move set, but that's kind of why it's kind of worth it. Because the steam is 1d8 fire plus 1d8 force, 15-foot radius on both the gas attacks.
Hmm.
Um, legendary actions, it can make an attack, it can move. It's like a real like an endurance fight
Mm.
that you have to go looking for. Uh, one thing that made it a bit more interesting is obviously stony skin, uh,
Yep.
resistant to non-magical piercing and slashing and fire, but vulnerable to cold, so it has some sort of out.
Yep.
But they gave it the frenzy rule. So basically, when it goes to half its hit points or less, it instantly recharges one of its gas abilities. If it's already got one, it has to use them.
Makes sense.
It just gets angry and just passively does its thing, which is quite fun if it's anything within 15 feet. So it's advantage on saves for just being pushed or not prone. And one thing I did to balance it out a little bit, because it's CR5, is if it's the target of any action that would deal cold damage, it has an AC reduced by 5 for that attack.
Hmm.
Because its AC is naturally 18, so it's kind of like the high AC fights can drag out a bit
Yeah.
if you're not careful. And it's in 104 hit points, so it's not a pushover. So I wanted to have some sort of built-in weakness that you could exploit.
Yeah.
What's it got? Study appearance and tough skin. Yeah. So if I it's a really, I thought it was a really decent little mid difficulty boss. Uh, that's also relevant to a game I've liked since just about forever, and thought, that monster's cool. I can't really improve upon that. That's just good. So what you got this week?
So I've got three. I'm carrying on with the mirror making stuff because I want to do enough mirror to do a dungeon with at some point. So I'll run through these really quick. First of all, we've
Yeah.
got Parcel Mirror, which is one that is more of a recent one that was put into I think Modern Horizons 2, and it's actually a coloured mirror. So these are actually
Right.
blue in terms of like their colour alignment in Magic. But their idea is these guys are fast.
Okay.
They have 45 feet of movement. They can dash as a bonus action, and their idea is
That is fast.
they are couriers. So
Mhm.
they don't really want to get into a fight. They want to get to
That
where
makes
they're
sense.
going. But because they are blue, they may cast counterspell once at second level, once per long rest, basically. So in a pinch, if they're like being targeted with something, they might be able to counter it, but only like once. And again, it's less of a I'm going to counter your healing spell, and more I'm about to be targeted by a really damaging spell that might kill me if I, and whilst I'm trying to run away, yeah, I'm going to try to counter that. And
That makes sense.
because they are little guys that are carrying stuff, uh, a successful DC 15 sleight of hand check can be made within 5 feet of them to steal the item. It's not that check isn't required if they're unconscious or dead. Obviously, roll a d20 to determine the item. So if it's between 1 and 14, a random item from the trinkets
Okay.
table. So you do have to roll multiple dice here, but if 114, something from the trinkets table, or any other similar homebrew trinkets table. Between 15 and 17, roll on Magic Item Table A. 18 or 19, roll on Magic Table B. And if you somehow get a 20, roll on Item Table C or higher at the DM's discretion. All this is usually in the DM's guide. I didn't want to like specify like homebrew sheets for that, but it's like if you wanted to use a homebrew sheet for that determination, you can. Ultimate DM's discretion. Obviously, a DM could also put a specific item in there if they wanted to for plot reasons, or if the module says to, like the module that I might be writing will probably say if there's a parcel mirror in there. They get a claw attack like all other mirror do, and a little bit of lore. They are the couriers and sometimes spies of Mirrodin, often answering to Memnarch directly. They carry information, orders, and objects across the plane, aiding in conspiracies and killings alike. Memnarch is basically the head honcho of Mirrodin for a hot minute. I will eventually do Memnarch's stat block at some point, but I want to get his card first before I do that, as I like having the cards to before I do the stat block. So then I can file it basically as I've done this now, and I can look at the cards rather than looking at reams of titles on my on my folder to see what I've done or haven't. Anyway, next is Palladium Mirror, which is actually a material. Palladium is like a platinum adjacent material or something. It's part of the platinum category of metals. I didn't even know there's a category of metals that were just platinum likes. Anyway, these guys are resistant to fire and acid because palladium is corrosion resistant and has a high melting point, but is a good conductor of electricity, so they're vulnerable to lightning. They ignore the first 15 feet of any attack or effect that causes knockback. They have advantage on saving throws against necromancy school spells and take half damage from them. Would be quartered in the case of a successful save. Because I feel like platinum is like that kind of paladin-esque, armor metal. So I gave it something specific against the evil school of magic. They have a mana rock ability like some of the other Mir do to give things a spell slot, but it's an upgraded version because it's giving them basically 2 mana they can do that with because Palladium Mir taps for 2 mana. So they're a bit stronger than the gold and other Mirs we've seen previously. They're also just CR1 in
Honestly.
general, which is the strongest Mir I've made so far. Their claw attack is actually double claw. They claw with both hands, which does 2d4 plus 2 slashing. But they can also use concussive punch, which deals less damage but not on a d8. And the hit creature has to make a DC 12 Constitution save. On a failed save, they are stunned, so they basically have softs. They basically essentially have stunning strike, and they are little basically wandering batteries that can pack a bit of a punch. And then finally, something that does tie all these Mir together, we have an item called Origin Spell Bomb. This is one of 10 spell bombs in Magic. Upon throwing the Origin Spell Bomb,
Okay.
I haven't talked about the range of it because throwing item there's a whole thing about throwing items I think in the DM's Got a Player handbook. So go by what that says. But it says a random Mir of CR1 or lower is summoned to the space the spell bomb landed. It's considered friendly to the thrower and neutral to every other creature. It can be commanded using a bonus action, main summoned for an hour. Standard stuff. If the user of the spell bomb is a caster, they may use a level 1 or higher spell slot to temporarily add 1 spell at random from their class spell list to their list of prepared spells. This effect lasts until the next dawn. My way of like interpreting the card effect in D&D terms, basically. But it's a little like summoning grenade kind of thing. So we got some more
Okay.
Mir and a way to potentially use them if you find the right item. Which I think we're now up to like 7 different types. Yeah.
That's certainly not bad.
But yeah, just little guys. I'm gonna take a break. I think next week from Mir though, because I want to work on some other creatures that'll go in the eventual dungeon that are still mirrored in stuff, but aren't Mir. Like there's something here called Clockwork Condor, which is a clockwork bird essentially, which I want to do next because I want something that can fly for reasons.
Okay.
But you'll have to tune in, folks, over the next few weeks to see what becomes of this little project.
Sounds like they're monsters in need of a dungeon. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm gonna do some more creatures next week, and I think the week after I'm gonna do some items to fill the dungeon with, and then the boss, and then the dungeon itself. So I've got a roadmap.
All right.
So what's next? Oh, yeah. So we have an occasional section where we talk about music as relevant to tabletop stuff.
Oh yes.
In Do you have any thoughts on that topic this week? I thought we might bring it back every
Yes.
so often.
I don't mind that at all. Yes. I I've got to recommend the soundtrack for it's quite an old game now, but it's a game called Apotheon, which I really like. Um,
Hmm.
so basically, it's a. Have you played like any of the early Castlevania games?
Yes.
They were the old 2D ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that kind of premise gameplay wise, set up very ancient Greek, 25 tracks long.
So
But basically, it's
it's what people would call a Metroidvania.
oh yeah,
Is
very
the
much so.
technical term.
So it's but it's all about ancient Greece and the gods being weird again, because most Greek myths about the gods being weird again. Um, but
Yeah.
funny that. But no, that's the main plot of it. But it's the art style is inspired by like the ancient Greek pottery style.
Mm-hmm.
It's very stylized, and I haven't seen anybody else really do that since. The music's really just kind of appropriate for sort of like a good heroic vibe, for the most part. There's a couple of tracks in there that I think are really, really good. Where the cave music sounds like really ominous cave music.
Hmm.
Um, because this is the kind of game where you'll go through like the sort of Earth in the middle of an apocalypse because the gods are just angry with people again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to like the Agora, where the gods are hanging out until humanity is wiped out to be restarted. Then the music for Hades is very good because it's perfectly like very sparse sounding, but very creepy. In fact, the NPCs are creepy in that because they're all most of them aren't even out to hurt you. They're just lost souls that just haven't felt warmth for God knows how many years.
Oh, I
So,
haven't
all
felt the
the voice
touch.
lines are really well done.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, yes, that's almost one of the lines one to one.
I haven't felt
Yeah,
the touch of a woman in years. Okay, buddy.
well, it's more warmth than women, but you kind of yeah, that's kind of it. So the cave music is a bit fantastic for it, and the underwater music's very I would say gong heavy, but not like you think of like the big Chinese style
Uh
ones,
huh.
like the I guess
Yeah.
hand gong size.
Hmm.
Um, good way to describe it, but yeah. So Apotheon, really fun game. Proper, unique little art style, and the soundtrack is really versatile. Especially some of the like the classic heroic stuff that sounds like you're doing something important. In between, there's a couple of fantastic just genre bits that I'm a huge fan of. I shall put a link to because it is just that good. Have you got anything that springs to mind?
So I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Infinite Fusion lately, and while admittedly some of the Pokemon music is, 16 or 64-bit, there's something to be said for the
Uh-huh.
music of Pokemon, particularly when it comes to the various different legendary Pokemon fights. As if you don't know,
Right.
most legendary Pokemon or groups of them have their own themes, and some of them, like the Regis, are really freaking cool. And especially when you have some mad lads like the symphonic metal people that just make remixes of them that make them go way harder than they even went
Oh,
in game.
okay. I think I know what you're on about.
Yeah, so I particularly like the Reggie theme. I particularly like that one because it just goes really freaking hard. But yeah, and again, I mean, and even some like the basic battle themes, they're just kind of cool. They're not like some of them work better for tabletop stuff than others, but generally, like the legendary themes, some of the champion or gym themes are pretty good for that as well. I just wanted to mention it. I just thought it was cool. And I haven't talked about it in that context. I haven't talked about Pokemon in that context before, so I wanted to just put that out there.
No, you're not wrong. Not wrong at all. Look, that's just it. Anything else? Are we wrapped up
That
for the
that's it
week?
for the week, I think, unless you have any closing thoughts.
Fair enough. Closing thoughts? No, there is one thing. I have a couple of weirdo games that, if you got the time, we wouldn't mind doing a co-op stream with.
Yes.
Um, the games in question being LST Dream Emulator. I've actually got that from definitely good legal source and spent hundreds of pounds on it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is I've been looking to get. There's a game called Tale of the Sun. If you've ever heard of it,
Sounds familiar, but
the reason I thought it'd be funny is because it's one of those games where you play as literal cavemen and have the advantage by hunting mammoths to get bones from the mammoths and pile their tusks up to the sun.
amazing. It's Grug and Grung Simulator.
Yep, it's definitely something I'd like to stream. I think it could have some. It's definitely got internet points.
Grung like sound of game. Hunt many mammoth.
You literally start with no weapon. You just have like your stick. You just have stick.
No, you don't need spear. I've got stick. Why need spear for? No. Bro. But yeah, I'd be up for that. Like, we can workshop it, we can discuss, and then throw it up on probably your Twitch. Go and follow Byzantian Dev on Twitch, folks. Yeah, it'd be cool. My closing thought is, I, I need to get my pile of shame sorted. That's my closing thought. I need to get my pile of shame sorted, cause, whew.
Me too, in that regard. Definitely me too. But suppose with
Right.
that, we'll
Yeah.
leave.
Let's
Thanks for
raid
listening to us,
out.
and
Get in the Venga bus. The Venga Boys is playing on repeat
we
because
like the party.
we are in
We like the
hells.
party.
We are in hell. The Venga Boys is constantly playing. Let's leave the demon frat boy room that smells of fish and
No, but it's
go.
the worst part is it's just the very opening of the song. It never actually finishes or starts.
It just goes the truck going.
Forever.
Except that the truck isn't part of the song. There is literally a semi truck parked outside honking the entire time.
It's a real truck. It's coming our way.
So I think we're actually gonna raid out to. I think actually. Wait, are they still live? Oh, I don't know. Let's raid out to Melancholy is gonna get raided. Give them a big old honk from the goose, and we'll see you guys next time. On same
See you next
podcast time, same podcast channel,
Same podcast place.
and there's your
That's
outro
zero.
music
Bye.
as soon as it plays.
Oh dear.